What's going on, my PT peeps, my Walking Dead family, and my fighters? I'm One Eyebrow, also known as PT, and I'm back to do another top 10 list of the most hated characters on The Walking Dead. This is my top 10 list. Yours may be different, of course. Let me know your thoughts. Post your comments below. And I got to give a spoiler warning and a mature content warning for the list because it's going to show some pictures of a lot of characters that are no longer with us from season 1 to season 10. So spoiler warning and mature content warning. So like I said, give me your top 10 list of the most hated characters, and we also have some honorable mentions. But first, guys, if you can, please hit that subscribe button. We talk about The Walking Dead all year round, even when The Walking Dead is on break. And for those interested in becoming a member, hit that join button, whether on a computer or mobile, and it'll guide you through the steps to become a level 1, 2, or 3 PT Peep. Now, number 10 is this guy, Tomas. And I was watching season 3. I went back and watched some of the episodes, and I'm like, this guy was annoying. He was short-lived, luckily, but he was against Rick Grimes. And anytime you're going to potentially hurt or kill Rick Grimes, you're on this list. That's for sure. Tomas came and went in season 3, and I'm glad that he was gone just as fast as we met him. Number 9 is actually two people. It is Nicholas and Aiden. They are both two Alexandrians that were annoying. Nicholas was a little better than Aiden, but I'm glad that Glenn punched him in the face, and Nicholas somewhat had a redemption arc, story arc, but he was gone. Aiden was annoying and not equipped to do his job, and I'm glad Glenn punched him in the face. Pretty funny. Well, Aiden and Nicholas, well, more Nicholas, got Noah killed, and they're definitely on this list. Number 8 is Gregory. Rhetorical. I just love the face, and he probably could have been lower or even off this list because he was a villain for sure, but he was just so annoying, and he was going to sell our group out. He went to Negan and Simon and tried to go against our group. He was plotting to go against Maggie. He attacked Maggie, and he thought it was way better than he was. He thought he did some great things in the zombie apocalypse, and I'm glad that he was gone and did not survive any longer into season 9 than the first episode. Number 7 is a smaller character, but Davey, whatever you want to call this guy. He was like the creeper guy that was part of the Saviors, so he had power, but he was a chump. He was a person that you could see would do some crazy things in the zombie apocalypse if he can get away with it. He was the typical guy that you're like, yeah, he's a psychopath. Do not trust this guy. And I'm glad that Negan took him out. Just like in the comics, it was pretty similar, but Davey did not last past season 7. And number 6 is another annoying Alexandrian, Spencer. Spencer was the guy that you're like, all right, he's thinking he's better than he is. He was complaining about Rick. He was going against Rick. And again, if you're going against Rick Grimes, you are definitely on this list. Also, number 6 is Spencer and one other person because it was too tough to separate them. Spencer got killed by Negan in season 7, which was great. And Ron is the other person that I thought was pretty terrible. Ron going against Carl, aiming at Rick to take him out. Ron was a character that probably could have been better, but he had a terrible father. And his father definitely set the tone for him in the zombie apocalypse. The Andersons were pretty bad. The Carl fight was pretty hilarious, but the fact that Ron aimed a gun at Rick, but then he was Michonne and shot Carl, which made me put him on this list for sure. Number 5 is the halfway point, is Ed. He was terrible. He could probably be number 1 because he seems like he's a terrible person, and he was definitely not good to Sophia and Carol. I'm glad Shane beat the crap out of him. He only survived a couple episodes in season 1, so that was okay. He was short-lived, but Ed was terrible. He was devoured by walkers, and you could just see that he was terrible. He was a terrible husband and father, for sure. Number 4 is another Anderson, Pete Anderson. Pete was terrible for multiple reasons. I'm glad he was gone. He's just a character that was important because he was a doctor, but he was also terrible for his wife and his kids. Probably was an alcoholic. He was a character that you could not really root for, but he was important because he was a doctor, and I'm glad that Rick took him out in the season 5 finale, and it was one of those things where you're like, yep, don't miss that guy, and I don't miss most of the Alexandrians, that's for sure. Number 3 is a character that could be lower, Andrea. Andrea is a character that was so annoying on so many different levels and so many different parts that her character basis was so annoying, especially when she shot Daryl. Her whole story arc with the governor was annoying. Season 3 was the worst part. She had a whole episode to herself. It was boring. It was terrible. She made terrible decisions, and the whole thing with her being strapped to the chair is like, come on, get out already. Come on, you can do it. But Andrea was terrible. Number 2, could be number 1 for a lot of people, Laurie Grimes. Laurie Grimes is terrible on so many levels. She is a character that is just annoying to watch. When you go back and watch season 1, 2, and 3, because she only survives to season 3, the way that she acted with Rick and Shane And it's just, I feel bad for her because of the whole Shane thing, and Shane lied to her and everything. But you could tell that she wasn't the best wife to Rick. She got taken out in a terrible way. I felt bad for Carl and Maggie and Judith and Laurie a little bit, but she was taken out in season 3. I have some honorable mentions because there's too many to list. Alan was terrible at the prison. He tried to take over the prison, and he was going to take out Carl. No way. Early, Father Gabriel, for sure. He was a coward. He was a wuss. He turned against Rick, but now he's much better. A lot of parts of Morgan, especially when he was in Alexandria and all life is precious and going against Jesus, it was pretty terrible. So Morgan and Richard was annoying at times too. I don't hate Richard and I don't hate Morgan by any means, but there's parts where I hated what they did. Mitch, annoying, just one of those characters that you're like, yep, he's against Rick, so I'm against this guy, and he was annoying. Dawn was another character that was like, what? She killed Beth, so she's not going to be liked. There's definitely parts of Dale's story arc that were annoying, especially when he was talking with Glenn, and I just found him annoying a lot in season 2 before he died off. And just look at that face, you're like, man, but I know I don't hate him, it was just things that he did. And Carl, young Carl, especially young Carl in season 2, especially season 3, was like, man, this kid is annoying. And again, I don't hate Carl, just some things that young Carl did. Number 1 is gotta be this guy, Jared. He was so annoying, and the fact that they kept him alive for so long really hurts season 7 and season 8 because he was so annoying to watch. If they got rid of him in season 7, it would have made it a little bit better. Season 7 is pretty bad, but it would have been a little bit better. And there's so many moments where you're like, this guy, I just hate this guy. And yes, he was ripped apart in season 8. It just took so long for him to go bye-bye, and it was annoying. So that's my list of the top 10 hated characters. And I am very interested to know your list. Some people may have Daryl on the list. Some people may have Shane on the list, but I love both of those characters for sure. But ultimately, this is a thing that is very specific to you. It's selective of why you like the show or not. And there's no right or wrong answers, but let me know your thoughts. Post your comments below. And I did a list way back when, and I don't remember who was on the list exactly, but I know Andrea and Laurie were definitely on there. It was probably pre-Jared, but Jared is pretty terrible in my eyes. And thank you guys for watching. I truly appreciate it. And for those interested in my Zombie Apocalypse book series, I have 11 books now. Check out the link in the description to all 11 books, and tell them, Daryl.
Yo, we love you guys. Honestly, thank you.